been writing an assembly language scroll routine over the past few days in an emulator, ZX Spin 666. It's written in an assembly language. The ZX Spin has quite a good, well, I'd say a reasonable assembler built into it and debugger. So it did make the process quite straightforward. The scroll routine itself is based upon ideas that a colleague of mine back in the day at Software Creations, Mike Follin, had. And he used it, I think, in LED Storm and Ghouls and Ghosts quite successfully. It's a 25 frames per second scroller with sprites. It's flicker free. It uses many advanced techniques such as using a stack to shift data around. So anyway, I thought, having run it in emulator, what would it run like on actual hardware? You'll have to excuse the brightness at the moment. I seem to have sun shining in the window, but you can see my TV and my Spectrum. I'm going to use PlayZX, quite a good, old but good Android app on the Android Play Store for loading the tap file in. So I've got the tap file already set up in ZX Spin on my trusty Samsung Android tablet. So now, to actually load it on the hardware, here we go. Makes me feel very nostalgic, the loading bars on the Spectrum. This should only take a couple of minutes. So the scroll routine itself runs quite well on emulator. I'm just a little bit worried that the timing might be out because emulators aren't 100% perfect and we might get some flickering on actual hardware. This Spectrum itself I restored recently. You can read about that on my blog. Got a new RAM chip soldered on that. Oh, there we go. And look at that. I'd say that's a winner, that. In fact, that looks a lot better and smoother than it does on emulation. Fantastic. Oh, I'm really pleased about that. In fact, that is the first game I've loaded on a Spectrum of mine in, well, since I left Software Creations, really, so 30 odd years. Oh, feel quite chuffed about that. Anyway, I'm going to be blogging about this over the next few weeks on my blog to give you some ideas on how I actually achieved this. So keep watching this space.